The Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya, a ribbon of tarmac baking under the fierce Spanish sun. Today, May 31, 2025, it wasn't just about setting fast times, it was about a statement. The air crackled with an energy you could almost taste. Every team, every driver, felt the weight of expectation. This wasn't just another qualifying session. This was a prelude to war, a high-speed chess match where the first move could dictate the entire game. The grandstands buzzed, a sea of color and noise, all eyes fixed on the unfolding drama. Who would falter? Who would soar? This season has been a roller coaster. McLaren, resurgent and formidable, leading both championships. Oscar Piastri, the young Aussie, atop the driver's standings, a picture of cool consistency. His teammate, Lando Norris, fresh from victories and breathing down his neck. And then there's Max Verstappen, the reigning champion, the relentless force of nature in his Red Bull. He arrived in Spain third in the points, a position he's not accustomed to, a position he's desperate to change. The narrative was set. Could McLaren continue their dominance? Or would Verstappen remind everyone why he wears the crown? The whispers in the paddock had been about the new technical directive, flexi wings. Today, we were about to see the first real test of these new limitations under the intense scrutiny of qualifying. The Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya is a true test of a Formula One car and driver. It's a track that has it all. High-speed corners that demand bravery and precision, slow, technical sections where agility is key. A long start-finish straight, yes, but don't let that fool you. Overtaking here is notoriously difficult. This is why qualifying in Barcelona carries such immense weight. Securing pole position isn't just a statistic, it's a golden ticket. It offers the driver out front the clearest view into turn 1, the chance to dictate the pace, to control the race from the very first lap. Clean air is king here. The leader doesn't have these problems. The pressure to perform, to extract every last thousandth of a second from the car, was immense. The first part of qualifying, Q1, is always a frantic affair. All 20 cars on track jostling for space, desperate to avoid the dreaded drop zone. The big guns usually play it cool, waiting for the track to rubber in, confident in their pace. But for the midfield teams, this is their first major battle. It's a chance to shine, to perhaps punch above their weight, to give their sponsors some valuable airtime. And today, as the clock ticked down, we saw some genuinely surprising laps emerge from unexpected quarters. There were the usual heart-and-mouth moments. Traffic. It's the perennial problem in Q1. Drivers on hot laps encountering slower cars on outlaps or cool-down laps. Frantic radio messages. Gesticulations from the cockpit. You need a clear lap. You need rhythm. And sometimes you need a bit of luck. A few drivers found themselves compromised, their best efforts thwarted by a poorly positioned rival. The track evolution was significant. As more rubber went down, the lap times tumbled. The engineers were glued to their timing screens, calculating, recalculating, urging their drivers to find that extra tenth. As Q2 got underway, the intensity ratcheted up another notch. The field was smaller now, just 15 drivers vying for those 10 coveted spots in the final shootout for pole. The sun continued to beat down, but the real heat was on the track. Every team knew that a place in Q3 meant a genuine shot at a top grid slot, a chance to really influence the outcome of Sunday's race. The stakes were incredibly high and the pressure was immense. You could see it in the focused expressions of the drivers, the hurried movements of the mechanics in the pit lane. The tire strategies started to come into play more prominently. Would teams try to save a set of fresh soft tires for Q3? Or would they need to use all their best rubber just to make it through? These are the fine margins that can make all the difference. A slightly used set of tires in Q3 might mean missing out on pole by a heartbreakingly small amount. But not making Q3 at all is an even worse fate. It's a constant balancing act, a high-speed game of risk and reward played out by the strategists on the pit wall. There were some heroic laps in Q2. The final 12 minutes, Q3. This is where legends are made. This is where pole position is won and lost. The 10 fastest drivers from the day, ready to unleash everything they had. The atmosphere was electric. Max Verstappen, the reigning champion, was out early, keen to lay down a marker. His Red Bull, a potent weapon in his skilled hands, looked hooked up from the moment it left the garage. He knew the importance of that first run, of setting a benchmark that would put pressure on his rivals, especially the high-flying McLarens. His first flying lap was a statement of intent. Smooth, aggressive, precise. Every apex clipped perfectly. Every ounce of power deployed effectively. The timing screens lit up purple in the first sector, then the second. The crowd held its breath. As he crossed the line, the time was formidable. It wasn't just fast, it was a gauntlet thrown down. Lando Norris knew what he had to do. Verstappen had set a blistering pace. Piastri had put himself firmly in the mix. Now it was Lando's turn. His McLaren, adorned in its iconic papaya colors, looked menacing as it blasted out of the pit lane. Norris, currently second in the championship and a race winner this season, has matured into a formidable competitor. He thrives under pressure, and the challenge laid down by Verstappen seemed to galvanize him. He was on a mission. His first flying lap in Q3 was a sight to behold. He attacked the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya with a controlled fury. The McLaren looked glued to the track, Norris wrestling it through the challenging sequence of corners with incredible skill. He was matching Verstappen's sector times, even bettering them in places. The McLaren garage watched, hearts and mouths. Could this be it? Could Lando snatch provisional pole on his first attempt? The car looked alive, dancing on the very edge of adhesion, a testament to both driver skill and aerodynamic efficiency. As he powered down the main straight and across the line, the timing screens flashed. The final minutes of Q3. This is what Formula One is all about, the ultimate expression of speed, skill, and nerve. The top 10 drivers emerged from the pits for their final decisive runs. Fresh tires, low fuel, engines turned up to their maximum. Max Verstappen was on a mission to solidify his pole. Lando Norris was equally determined to snatch it away. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation. Every fan, every team member held their breath. This was it, the moment of truth for the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix qualifying. Verstappen was out first of the leading contenders. His final lap was a masterclass. He pushed the Red Bull to its absolute limits. Yet there was an almost serene precision to his driving. He improved on his earlier time, shaving off precious thousandths. It was a flawless lap, a champion's drive. He crossed the line and the new benchmark was set. It looked unbeatable. Surely that was pole position secured. The Red Bull pit wall erupted, but they knew it wasn't over until Norris had completed his final attempt. The pressure was now squarely on Lando's shoulders. Lando Norris began his final charge. He knew he had to produce something truly special. So Max Verstappen will start from pole position for the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix, a critical advantage secured. Alongside him, Lando Norris, a mere 10th behind, hungry for victory. What a front row. But the story of qualifying doesn't end there. Behind them, the grid is packed with talent and intrigue, setting the stage for a fascinating race tomorrow. Oscar Piastri, the current championship leader, lines up a superb third in the second McLaren. He's perfectly placed to support his teammate or indeed challenge for the win himself. McLaren's strength and depth is undeniable. Looking further down, George Russell will start from 4th place for Mercedes. The Silver Arrows have been quietly making progress, and Russell's consistent performances are keeping them in the hunt. He'll be a threat, especially if he can get a good start. Charles Leclerc, in the leading Ferrari, finds himself in 5th. Perhaps not where the Scuderia hoped to be, but Charles is a fighter, and from P5 anything is possible, especially with Ferrari's renowned race pace. He will be looking to make early inroads and disrupt the leaders. The rest of the top 10 is a mix of seasoned campaigners and rising stars, all capable of springing a surprise. And so, the dust settles on a truly epic qualifying session here in Barcelona. Max Verstappen on pole, Lando Norris alongside him. What a prospect for tomorrow's race. The tension, the drama, the sheer skill on display today was everything we love about Formula One. From the early skirmishes in Q1 to that breathtaking finale in Q3, it was a session that had us all on the edge of our seats. The tiny margin between Verstappen and Norris, just 1/10 of a second, promises an incredibly close fight when the lights go out. Tomorrow, Sunday, June 1st at 2 p.m. local time, the main event unfolds. The weather forecast suggests hot and dry conditions, which will make tire management even more critical. Barcelona is a tough track on tires at the best of times. With high track temperatures, strategy will be paramount. Can McLaren, with 2 cars in the top 3, use their strategic options to outmaneuver Verstappen, or will Max from the front be able to control the race and convert his pole position into a much-needed victory to reignite his championship charge? Don't forget Oscar Piastri starting from P3. The championship leader has been consistently quick all weekend. He's not just there to make up the numbers, he's a genuine contender for the win. And what about George Russell and Charles Leclerc just behind? They will be desperate to get involved in the fight at the front. The start will be absolutely crucial.